Every good dish needs some spice, especially when your ingredients are already this hot. Apothecary Diaries is no stranger to amazing emotional moments. That being said, in a story where eunuchs, courtesans, and consorts take center stage, it's only fair to expect some spicy moments to come around. But remember what they say, spice makes everything nice. Especially since we're talking about such a well-written anime with well-developed characters. Specifically, we'll be diving into Jinshi and Maomao.
いい子にはご褒美をあげないとね。
MRS, which one is it? Okay, I know Maomao is by far one of the most eye-catching characters in anime, but let's give the pretty prince his dues. In fact, let's send him a whole bill cause he's actually the instigator of the etchiness in this anime. Right off the get-go, the relationship between Maomao and Jinshi is established between master and servant. Jinshi does a good job in every little scene they share, acting as the man in charge, and Maomao does a good job of not being typically subservient. This delicate balance of Jinshi being a playful master and Maomao being a stone-faced girl boss is the key ingredient that makes their relationship shine throughout the series. That being said, all that doesn't change the fact that Jinshi can be just a little out of line for some. We don't have to look too far into the series to see this either. By episode 2, we already get a glimpse of just how risque Jinshi can get. Though, I suppose that's not quite right as the term implies there's actual risk for him, which in this setting, there really isn't. I mean, we could even fast forward to just a couple episodes later and he's already pushing Maomao to a corner while threatening to shove his honey-covered hand deep inside her mouth. Ugh, talk about a harassment case waiting to happen. Like, literally waiting for a long time. It's ancient China, guys. Now, while those were certainly naughty sights, it's far from the ecchi typical anime fans are used to. There is no suggestive clothing or excessive showcase of anime skin. Just pure outrageous action from a dirty prince who isn't ashamed of some domineering. However, an important thing to note with all that and the many other scenes we'll be taking a look at later is that while Jinshi typically dominates, he's actually a very masochistic man deep inside. You see, after being seen as an amazing man all his life, it was a rare sight to see someone so disgusted at his beautiful form as Maomao is. With that being said, you could look at his domineering episodes as a sort of release. Either gets Maomao to look at him in an even lesser way, or he flips her opinion and gains the satisfaction of genuinely earning someone's affection. Something Jinshi hasn't been able to properly do even back when he was young, considering his high political status and how isolated he had been. If you thought his inappropriate and overly forward antics were out of line, it's a fact that Jinshi is still, in a lot of ways, a child deep inside. All very poetic and deep stuff, but anyway, we're here for the ecchi, so let's get back to that. But before we get some eye candy, how about treating us to a super thanks for this video? It really means a lot. While you're at it, remember to like, share, and subscribe if you want to see more amazing content like this. And make sure to join the comments below if you want to share your thoughts on the scenes in Apothecary Diaries that gets your blood pumping.
優しくしますから。
A jaunt around the bath. As we already alluded to before, when an anime fan like yourself thinks of ecchi, you're likely imagining something of a more revealing nature. But as the fashion sense of the characters in Apothecary Diaries is quite grounded, you'd be hard-pressed to find such scenes. That is, unless you look at the one place Maomao seems to love visiting, the bath. She sure loves taking a bath, but I guess it's just natural considering how much she's willing to roll around in dirt in search of her beloved ingredients. In season 1, she partakes in the bath of the Verdigris house every single time she visits, sometimes alone, sometimes with old granny, and sometimes with her well-endowed sisters. Now, it's nothing really crazy, and honestly, the scenes aren't really aimed towards much sex appeal. The prime side to take away is some Maomao shoulders and a good look at her back. Oh, and there's just that little bit of something to Maomao's look when she's wet, a foreshadowing of some breathtaking scenes to come. But before we get to that, there is one prime episode in season 2 where Maomao once again makes her way to a bath. But this time with her girlfriends in tow, which is very lucky for us cause Shisui is one attractive lady.
Shisui.
And this bath episode gives us a good view of her personality. Add on to that the fresh face in the series, Sekyu, who also gets her fair share of ogling girls, but who can really blame him when she's that well equipped? Either way, it's a fresh sight when it's just the girls being pervy to other girls without a certain jinshi in sight. And yeah, it's almost a whole episode of Mama wearing bath attire. What's not to love? Unlike the usual fan service episodes found in other anime, this episode does well in maintaining the same level of clever detail and writing that can be seen in every other episode of Apothecary Diaries. It's not just a simple break from the rest of the series, even as the characters are technically taking one. We dove deeper into this episode in a previous video on the channel, so check that out if you can. But some notable details to look out for include Shisui avoiding Lishu to protect her identity, and Xiaolan making some connections that will have significant payoff later in the series. So while there's plenty of eye candy to enjoy this episode, there's still some thick plot brewing all the while. It's the best of both worlds where you push the story forward while giving some fan service to those that may be getting tired of the same old views.
痛くない。
The heat and something more. Now for the penultimate ecchi moment in Apothecary Diaries so far, and of course I can only be referring to the waterfall scene. But before we immediately dive into it, we first have to take a step back to how the anime builds up to this scene. So the reason Jinshi and Maomao got to this point and location is because Jinshi was invited to partake in a hunt by the scheming Shisho. But before he even sets out to go, Jinshi was thinking long and hard about what to do about his favorite plaything, Maomao. He planned to bring her along to this trip, and with that also planned to reveal the truth about his identity during it. After all, there's no way such a high-intelligence detective like her wouldn't be able to catch on to this supposed eunuch being invited to hunt alongside major political figures. While the two have already shared many heartfelt and intimate scenes between each other, Jinshi is yet to tell her the most important thing about himself. Or at least what he thinks is the most important thing. Oh, and also, Jinshi hasn't even bothered to call Maomao by her actual name, as shown by the teasing of Lady Gyokyo.
私はシャオマオと。
じゃあ、あなたはマオマオのことをなんて呼んでるの？
This pretty prince who's done pretty much all he wants to the green gremlin isn't even able to utter her name. It's a funny yet very neat scene where you get a look at Jinshi's outlook on their relationship. He has only thought of her as a tool to start out with, and slowly he's appreciated her more as an actual person in between treating her as a plaything. And during that relationship development, Jinshi hasn't actually made formal moves to progress properly, neither revealing his past nor calling Maomao by her name. Both of these things have caught up to him at this juncture of the story where he now must make a decision. So anyway, the Jinshi party makes their way to the hunt and immediately finds themselves in debilitating heat. Heat that very clearly bothers the pretty boy Jinshi, who also happens to be thinking deeply about Maomao all the while. Maomao is also slowly but surely realizing something is going on as they're being treated as pretty big deals. We move on and Jinshi is served a hefty meal filled with all sorts of aphrodisiac type dishes. There's multiple things at play here as well. One, somebody powerful wants Jinshi to consume the dishes and succumb to its effects so that they could catch him in a precarious act. So straight up, Maomao should understand from this that Jinshi is a powerful enough figure to warrant such a political move. But that isn't all. Jinshi also makes it a point to confirm and confirm again with Maomao if it's really okay for him to consume such dishes. This is him asking Maomao if she's really fine with him succumbing to the aphrodisiac's effects. Because of course, Maomao would likely be a victim in this situation. It's a little jab by Jinshi where he's attempting to gauge Maomao's interest or lack thereof towards him, who at this point likes her. Unfortunately for him, Maomao doesn't really take the hint, seeing no problem with the meal. So after all of that, we eventually reach the fateful day. The heat though is clearly hitting Jinshi hard this time. No thanks to the ancient face mask he's wearing too, which he's wearing in an effort to hide his identity. During mealtime, Jinshi even excuses himself to take a breather outside the building. Maomao sees this and, being the apothecary she is, quickly prepares the necessary relievers and follows him. The man's at his wit's end.
あー、めんどくせえ。そんなに人目が気になるなら、見えないところへ行けばいいでしょ。
Yet somehow he's also able to realize this situation is the best moment to reveal his true identity. Too bad, not yet, pretty boy. An assassination attempt is here to spoil the moment. At least Jinshi is able to get in on some Maomao action through emergency CPR, but that is how the two ended up wet and bothered inside a dark, isolated cave. Here comes the fun part. You remember all those moments of wet maomao? Yeah, this is what it all built up to. Even wetter maomao, who luckily for Jinshi is now forced to undress to avoid the menacing cold, as she also hands him the herbs she had prepared prior. We and Jinshi finally get the signal that this anime is finally about to get a little bit steamy. Finally, the revealing outfit all ECCHI fans have been waiting for. I know, it's the same thing she was wearing in that bath episode, but given she's in front of Jinshi, I think even the animators knew this time hits different. We didn't get all the way to the scene for nothing though, as we don't just get the two wet, but also the two literally on top of each other. It's a pretty cliche situation, I'll give you that, but it's the turning of the tables that really makes this spicy hot. At first, it was Mama who ends up on top of Jinshi, and thanks to ancient clothing, she gets the cop a feel of the true identity of the supposed eunuch. And if you aren't used to it already, Mama's denial goes hard, and she ultimately tries to brainwash herself into thinking a giant frog had come under her. Unfortunately for her, things have been stewing inside Jinshi even before they went on this trip, and this boy is in literal heat. Jinshi gets slightly annoyed by her denial and flips them over. Now, Jinshi is the captain, and in a scene that got many fans red in the cheeks, he lifts her leg up to finally get a leg up on Maomao's stoicism. Suddenly, it looks like Maomao is now truly helpless against the living HR problem in this moment, where her chastity may truly end up leaving her. But you already know what's gonna happen. There's still some ways to go in the story, guys, but for this ecchi adventure, we've come to an unfortunate end.
どうする？蹴りを入れるべきか？
How did you like the steamy moments between our favorite masochistic prince and sadistic apothecary? Are you looking forward to the eventual moment Maomao flips the script and attacks Jinshi? Would you personally report the overbearing eunuch to the HR department if you had the chance? We can't wait to hear it. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want to see more awesome content like this one. And comment down below what you thought of today's video. As always, thanks for watching. We'll be seeing you again next time.